What if the most powerful medicine you could ever take wasn't sold in a pharmacy, wasn't measured in milligrams, and didn't come with a list of side effects? What if it came in a bowl? While we chase supplements, protein powders, and lab-engineered meal replacements, ancient kitchens around the world have been quietly rebuilding human bodies for thousands of years. Today, we're looking at 20 forgotten meals, humble, ancient, dirt cheap, that carry actual documented evidence behind them. Meals that work on your joints, your gut, your brain, your immune system, and your heart, all at once. Stick around, because number 12 is one of the oldest meals still being eaten on Earth. A dish so ancient, it was feeding people before Rome was even a thought. And number 20? Ancient Greek physicians actually prescribed it to the sick. It still works today. Number 1. Bone broth with root vegetables. The original medicine cabinet. Before hospitals. Before pharmacies. Before the very concept of medicine as we understand it, there was a pot of bones simmering over a fire. Ancient Chinese healers prescribed it for blood restoration. Medieval physicians gave it to the sick and elderly. Cultures across 6 continents all arrived at the same conclusion independently. When you simmer bones long enough, something extraordinary happens to the liquid. What comes out of that pot is loaded with collagen, the structural protein that holds your joints together, keeps your skin elastic, repairs your gut lining. It's rich in glycine, dense with minerals. And here's the thing, we used to eat the whole animal. We wasted nothing. And in doing that, we accidentally created one of the most nourishing foods humans have ever consumed. Number 2. The healing bowl of ancient China. Congee might be the most underrated healing food in the entire world. In China, it's been prescribed by physicians for over 2,000 years, not as comfort food. As medicine. When your body is fighting illness, every calorie spent on digestion is a calorie not spent on healing. Congee with rice cooked down to near predigested consistency asks almost nothing of your digestive system while giving back an enormous amount. It rehydrates. It soothes an inflamed gut. And when cooked with ginger, garlic, and bone broth, it becomes antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and deeply nourishing. Number 3. Garlic Lentil Stew. The ancient Mediterranean prescription. Lentils have been cultivated for 13,000 years. And in ancient Greece, Egypt, Persia, and Rome, lentil stew with garlic and olive oil wasn't peasant food. It was a health food. Physicians recommended it. Lentils are extraordinarily high in fiber, the kind that feeds your gut bacteria. They're rich in iron and folate, critical for blood health. And garlic sulfur compounds have documented antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral properties. Studies link garlic consumption to lower heart disease rates, better immune function, and reduced blood pressure. Add olive oil and lemon juice, and you've got a meal working on your gut, your blood, your heart, and your immune system simultaneously. Number 4. Fermented Miso Soup. Japan's daily medicine. For centuries in Japan, miso soup wasn't just breakfast, it was a daily health ritual. Doctors, Buddhist monks, and samurai all understood it to be essential. And the reason is elegant. Miso is fermented soybean paste. That fermentation, which can take weeks to years, transforms the soybeans entirely. It creates beneficial bacteria. It generates bioactive peptides that reduce inflammation. It makes nutrients radically more bioavailable. And a bowl of miso soup with seaweed and tofu delivers probiotics, anti-inflammatory compounds, and iodine for thyroid health in 5 minutes. Number 5. Barley and Mushroom Pottage. Medieval Europe's healing staple. Pottage kept medieval Europe not just alive, but functional and remarkably resilient against illness for hundreds of years. And certain combinations, the healers of that era understood, were especially powerful. Barley is loaded with beta-glucans, a soluble fiber with documented immune-modulating effects. Beta-glucans essentially train your immune system, help it respond more effectively to pathogens, lower LDL cholesterol, and dramatically improve gut health. Add mushrooms, and you layer in polysaccharides and their own beta-glucan variants, studied extensively for immune support. Together in a long-cooked pottage, this is genuinely immunostimulating food. Number 6. Turmeric Golden Milk Porridge. Ayurveda's breakfast prescription. 3,000 years of Ayurvedic medicine have prescribed turmeric as medicine. And while the Western world recently discovered it through golden lattes, traditional cooking embedded it into a warming spiced breakfast porridge eaten every single morning. Curcumin, turmeric's active compound, is one of the most studied anti-inflammatory substances in modern science. It reduces inflammatory markers. It supports joint health. It appears to protect brain tissue. But here's what most people ignore: the ancient formula of turmeric with black pepper and fat turns out to be biochemically correct. Piperine in black pepper increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. Ancient cooks figured this out millennia before biochemists did. Number 7. Sardines with olive oil and herbs. The Mediterranean fisherman's medicine. This one surprises people because sardines have a reputation problem in the modern West, but in Mediterranean coastal communities, they were a foundational health food for thousands of years, and in those communities, rates of heart disease, inflammatory disease, and cognitive decline were dramatically lower. What sardines actually contain omega-3 fatty acids at levels that rival the most expensive fish oil supplements. Vitamin D, which most people in northern climates are deficient in, and when you eat them with the bones, which are completely soft and edible, you get calcium that rivals dairy. This entire meal costs less than $2, takes 5 minutes to prepare, and delivers a nutritional payload that most people spend a fortune trying to replicate through supplementation. Number 8. Kimchi Jjigae. Korea's gut-healing comfort stew. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it right now, because what's coming in the second half of this list is going to genuinely change the way you cook. The kimchi itself, fermented cabbage with garlic, ginger, and chili, is loaded with beneficial lactobacillus bacteria, the same family found in the most expensive probiotic supplements. These go directly into your gut and begin restoring microbial diversity. But the stew goes further. Garlic delivers its antimicrobial compounds. Capsaicin from the chili improves circulation and reduces inflammation. The fermentation byproducts themselves directly reduce intestinal inflammation. Korean traditional medicine used this as a recovery meal after illness, and modern microbiome research has confirmed the wisdom entirely. Number 9. Oatmeal with berries and raw honey. Northern Europe's healing breakfast. Before nutritional science existed, Northern Europeans survived brutal winters on oats, summer-preserved berries, and raw local honey. It turned out to be one of the most intelligently constructed healing breakfasts imaginable. Oats contain beta-glucans with some of the most robust clinical evidence of any food, significantly lowering LDL cholesterol, feeding beneficial gut bacteria, stabilizing blood sugar. Berries layer in polyphenol and flavonoids with documented cardiovascular and neuroprotective effects. And raw honey, not the processed kind, retains genuine antibacterial compounds. Raw local honey also contains local pollen, which research suggests may help modulate immune responses to local allergens. Northern Europeans weren't nutritionists, they were survivors. And they assembled something modern science is still unpacking. Number 14. Tibetan Butter Tea Soup. High-altitude survival medicine. This one operates on completely different nutritional logic than everything else on this list. Because it was developed by a civilization living at over 14,000 feet above sea level in one of the most extreme environments on Earth, where the rules of nutrition are quite literally different. At high altitude, the body needs more calories, more fat, more electrolytes, sustained energy. Cold thin air demands it. Tibetan butter tea, strong pu'er tea, yak butter, salt, and roasted barley flour was engineered by necessity. The fermented tea provides unique compounds and alertness. The butter delivers calorie-dense fat that burns slowly for hours. The salt replaces electrolytes lost to cold and altitude. The barley adds fiber and complex carbohydrates. Together, the original sports nutrition. Just from a very different kind of sport. Number 15. Mediterranean Chickpea and Spinach Stew. Ancient peasant food, elite nutrition. Here's the paradox at the heart of most healing foods. They were cheap. They were common. They were exactly what people ate when they couldn't afford anything else. And they turned out to be among the most nutritionally sophisticated meals ever developed. Chickpeas are loaded with magnesium, a mineral the majority of people in industrialized countries are deficient in. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. Critical for muscle function, nerve function, sleep, blood pressure regulation, and energy production. Spinach adds iron, folate, antioxidants including lutein and zeaxanthin for eye health and vitamin K for blood and bone. Together with olive oil and garlic, this simple stew delivers magnesium, plant protein, iron, folate, and antioxidants in a form that's deeply satisfying and costs almost nothing. Ancient healers knew this. Make it tonight. Number 16. Persian Ash Reshta. The herb healer. Persian cuisine is one of the oldest continuous culinary traditions on earth. An ash reshta, a massive, thick herb and noodle soup, represents one of its highest expressions of medicinal cooking. The defining characteristic is sheer volume of fresh herbs, enormous quantities, parsley, cilantro, dill, fenugreek, and spinach cooked into a thick broth along with legumes, noodles, turmeric, and fermented whey. The herbs aren't a garnish. They are the point. Parsley is extraordinarily rich in vitamin K and anti-inflammatory flavonoids. Cilantro has been studied for its ability to bind heavy metals and support their removal from the body. Dill carries antioxidant monoterpenes. Fenugreek contains compounds that help regulate blood sugar. Together, in those quantities, this soup delivers antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compounds at a scale no single herb could achieve alone. Modern functional nutrition is just beginning to understand polyphenol synergy. Persian cooks understood it empirically 3,000 years ago. They just called it ash reshta. Number 17. Sauerkraut and sausage skillet. Central Europe's gut medicine. Sauerkraut and sausage sounds like bar food. It is not bar food. It is one of the most gut-intelligent combinations Central European cultures ever devised. And the timing of when they traditionally ate it, through long winters when fresh vegetables were unavailable, reveals how intentional the choice was. Traditionally made sauerkraut can contain billions of beneficial bacteria per serving, far more than most probiotic capsules. It also retains an extraordinary concentration of vitamin C, which is why it was carried on ships to prevent scurvy on long ocean voyages. It contains digestive enzymes. It produces short-chain fatty acids that directly nourish the cells lining your colon. And the fat in the sausage actually improves the bioavailability of several compounds in the fermented cabbage. Here's the critical part: the sauerkraut must be raw. Heat it past 115 degrees and the bacteria die. Warm the sausage in the pan. Number 18. West African Peanut Stew. Deep nutrition from an ancient tradition. West African groundnut stew, known as moth in Senegal and Mali, is one of the most nutritionally complete single-dish meals in the world, and it has been providing deep nourishment to West African communities for centuries. Peanuts bring healthy fats, plant protein, niacin, folate, and magnesium. The base of tomatoes, onions, ginger, garlic, and chili peppers layers in anti-inflammatory compounds, antimicrobial properties, and capsaicin, which improves circulation and has documented metabolic effects. Sweet potato and collard greens add fiber, potassium, vitamins A and C, and additional antioxidants. West African food traditions developed cuisine that had to do double duty, sustaining communities through physical labor in hot climates while providing genuine nutritional protection. The result is deeply flavorful and deeply healing at the same time. Number 19. Italian Ribollita. Tuscany's twice-cooked healing soup. The name means reboiled, because ribollita was made from leftover minestrone, stale bread, and whatever vegetables remained, then cooked again the next day until everything merged into thick, stew-like density. Peasant food. The food of medieval Tuscan farmers who could not afford to waste a single thing. Cannellini beans provide fiber and plant protein that support colon health and gut microbiome diversity. The Tuscan black kale, Cavolo nero, is one of the most nutrient-dense vegetables that exists, loaded with vitamin K, vitamin C, sulforaphane, and calcium. And the stale bread that thickens the soup turns out to be significant. Day-old bread carries higher resistance starch content than fresh bread, meaning more of it bypasses digestion entirely and feeds your gut bacteria instead. Tuscan farmers ate this through every winter and emerged in spring healthy, vital, and ready to work. They didn't know why it worked, they just knew it did. Number 20. Greek avgolemono, the ancient prescription for recovery. And here we are, the one I saved for last, because it represents something important about what healing food can be at its very absolute finest. Avgolemono, Greek chicken lemon soup, thickened with egg, brightened with citrus, into something silky, warm, and deeply restorative. This is the soup that ancient Greek physicians actually prescribed to patients recovering from illness. The broth carries collagen and glycine from the long-simmered chicken, the same healing compounds we talked about in number 1. The lemon provides vitamin C not just as an antioxidant, but as an active participant in tissue repair, immune function, and collagen synthesis. The egg adds complete, highly bioavailable protein, along with choline for liver function and brain health. The rice adds easily digestible carbohydrates to restore energy in a depleted body. Together, these create something that soothes, rebuilds, restores, and tastes like someone took the most healing intention in the world and turned it into food. Here's what avgolemono teaches us, and what every single meal on this list has been quietly saying from the beginning. The most powerful healing food is not complicated. It's not expensive. It doesn't require exotic ingredients or laboratory techniques. It requires good ingredients, treated with knowledge, cooked with care, and given to a body that needs them. Ancient physicians understood that food was medicine, that what you placed in a bowl and handed to a sick person was a genuine act of healing. We replaced that wisdom with processed food, synthetic supplements, and convenience, and called it progress. But the bone broth was right. The congee was right. The avgolemono was waiting quietly, in kitchens across the world, for someone to remember. Maybe healing was never complicated. Maybe it was always in the simplest meals. And maybe we just stopped noticing.